The officially licensed Lord of the Rings Middle-earth Premium Silver Foil is available now to order exclusively from New Zealand Mint. Housed in a themed envelope with certificate of authenticity and protective perspex folder, this special edition coin has an extremely limited mintage of only 2,000 units. Constructed with 35 grams of 999 fine silver, rolled flat, engraved and printed on, the piece is guaranteed legal tender, issued by New Zealand Mint under authority of New A. Order yours online now.
Eat my shorts.
What is this?
Hello everybody, welcome to the Dave Lee Down Under podcast. I'm of course your host Dave Lee, and this is episode 13. Episode 13, yeah, sure? I'm sure. Had to double check that there. Oh, 13 shows. Oh, is this the point where jump the shark?
Unlucky 13.
Oh no, jeez, let's be careful. We had Friday the 13th this year, didn't we? This month? No, October.
Oh no, when was it?
I don't know, I'm pretty sure we had one.
Yeah, we did recently.
Yeah.
Look.
Anyway, you can of course join us on the podcast. We're getting distracted before we've even got through the intro today. You can join us every single Monday on the podcast here. It goes out on all podcasts.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. So
yeah,
what was that, November?
November.
Yeah, well there you go. Yeah. So this episode, as I was saying, is going out on all podcasting platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and Audible. You can get on all of those. Visual element is, of course, available to view on YouTube. Visual, you can watch it. Goes out on YouTube on the Monday, along with all the other audio versions. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you can get 2 days early access to that. If you'd like to support us for as little as $1 a month, you can head to patreon.com/Dave Lee Down Under. You can, of course, find me on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I've got little links down there in the description below. You can just click right through and give me a follow if you can. If you want to write into the show, you can shoot an email over to daveleepod@gmail.com. We got an email. Someone emailed
got
in.
one?
Yeah.
First one?
Yeah, well, I think
of.
I've had some like random ones like, do this evolution. And I've just ignored them. But we did get a good one. We'll talk about that later, actually. Of course, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, please leave a review and a rating. It does help.
Only good ones.
Yeah, I almost missed your line there. Jeez. Picked up the glass to have a little sip. You missed it.
No.
Almost.
Oh, just suspense.
Bit of suspense, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we haven't had a rating for a while or a review for a while on there. So if you are listening, particularly on Apple, because I think Apple's the only one you can leave reviews. But if you are, please make an effort to write a good review.
Good review.
A good review, and
all crap ones we deleted.
Yeah, well,
if you could.
If you could. Get rid. No, I'm very excited today because we've got a sponsor for this episode.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the New Zealand Mint. In celebration of their brand new Lord of the Rings line of collectibles. They're sponsoring the show and they're sponsoring the channel for the month of December, which is awesome. So it'll be an ongoing sort of collaboration with them to promote their latest release, which we'll talk about very, very soon.
And it's awesome.
It is amazing.
Awesome.
It's fantastic. It got me very excited when I got the email from them. We'll talk about that soon. I'm sure you heard the little stinger at the beginning there. But, of course, as always, we've got old mate Rick joining me on the show today.
Howdy doody, boys and girls. Hope everyone's well. We're certainly well here in Melbourne.
We're doing well.
Yeah, as of today, we have officially eradicated the virus.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Congratulations, Melbourne.
28 days without a case.
Amazing.
Without a new case, without a death, and we have no active cases in Melbourne.
Crazy. Yeah.
Going from where we were a few months ago to now.
It's got to get out of control.
The government and the public have done very, very well.
Yeah. Vast majority of the public.
Vast majority. There are still some morons out there.
I know. I feel like they're a little less vocal now. That
exactly
we
right.
haven't turned into this police state that
exactly.
everyone was talking about.
Exactly.
But it's all looking good here in Melbourne, of course. 28 days the World Health Organization considers as an eradication of the virus. I'm assuming there's probably going to be...
There's probably cases still floating out there, but they're so minuscule that...
Amazing.
That's not being detected. And they're still testing between what, I think yesterday was over 10,000.
Yeah, it was like 16,000.
Day before was 16,000. So they're still doing a lot of testing.
Yeah, it's not like they're testing 100 people and going, oh yeah, we've got 0.
Yeah. Oh, 3 people came in today. We don't have any cases.
So it's good. It's good. It's feeling a lot freer here. We're actually able to go out and do stuff.
People seem a little more relaxed and stuff, and you get out and about in public. And it was funny. The other day, the first day that we were sort of really unlocked, where we were allowed to go out into public without masks and stuff.
Because they got rid of that.
I went into the shopping centre and here locally here, and even outside, everybody was still wearing masks. I was walking outside without mine and thought, "Oh, am I doing something wrong?" Yeah.
Oh, because if you don't know, of course we've had to wear masks wherever we've gone for the last 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
And they've loosened the restrictions now. You don't have to wear it outside unless you're in a crowd, but you do have to wear a mask inside, like if you're at a shopping centre or whatever. Of course, in your own house, you don't have to wear one.
Well, the description, I don't know if you saw it, on Dan Andrews' page.
Yeah.
It was the example he gave was, and we're going to talk about Bunnings here, and Bunnings, for those overseas that don't know, is a huge chain of hardware stores.
Like a Home Depot or...
Yeah, exactly right.
What's it called in the UK? B&Q.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And his example is, and they have a what we call in Australia a sausage sizzle.
Yeah.
So it's a barbecue where they just cook sausages and bacon and whack it in bread with a bit of tomato sauce, and away you go for a couple of bucks. And that's been stopped, and that starts up again. I think this weekend, or next weekend, maybe here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And his example was, if you're at Bunnings in the car park, no mask. Inside Bunnings, mask. In line for sausage, mask.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Was onions on top of sausage. No question.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's quite funny.
Yes, that's sounding good. I mean, we're all taking it in good spirits. I mean, that's our premier, the premier of the stage.
Yeah.
He's saying shit like that. That was in his. He said that in his press conference as well, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, well, he posted it on, I think, Facebook or something. As well, where I saw it.
Yeah, so it's looking good. Of course, the virus is still out there. A lot of countries still doing it pretty hard. I mean,
we feel for those that are doing it hard and are going into lockdowns because we've been through a pretty
certainly know what it's like. So just keep playing it safe.
Yep.
Keep up the good fight. Play by the rules.
Exactly right.
It is a long, tough slog.
And most of the other states are opening up to us now. We can sort of travel interstate and everything. So and even places like Tasmania, we can travel to Tasmania without quarantine or isolation.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful. So yeah. So congratulations,
Melburnians, get out there and enjoy it, but do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly, and that goes for everyone. Again, it's long, it's tough, but you get through it in the end. So,
even those that didn't believe that it was what it was, and the doomsdayers, they should be out there enjoying it.
Exactly right.
But do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Not many funny stories happen to us this week. There's usually something going on with the courier or something, but I've
bugger all this week.
Yeah, well, I haven't had any parcels coming. I think the last of it was last week. Nothing's lost, so I haven't been expecting anything. So I haven't had any couriers come. We did have a garbage truck. A guy like a green waste truck came up the road and just sat there in his car for about half an hour doing nothing. I don't think he even came and got any bins. He must have just thought, just
blocking off because we're in a little cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So you sort of can't drive through. Yeah, you got to drive up and drive back out.
Probably just thought, this is a nice little place I can go. No one will see me.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, but of course, if you've been listening, we had a courier driver a couple of months ago now, probably, who just came and sat in the driveway. Wasn't even coming to deliver anything to us as for next door. Yeah. Came and parked in our driveway for like at least 45 minutes.
Yep.
So it's just funny. We had a garbage truck come up and essentially do the same thing. I looked over on his phone, and he saw me looking, and he got out, quickly make it look like he's doing something, and then get back in the car, and then took off.
God,
I thought
they're funny.
Yeah. What do we watch? It has been a huge week of watching stuff again. I mean, I've been so busy again, just trying to get videos and stuff done. As far as catalog titles, again, you'll know I try and get one movie in every day. I've got like a big stack of hundreds of movies that I'm just trying to get through. But I've had so many from the distributors come in this month that's really all I've been watching the last month or two. This week, rather, I got in King Kong, the 1976 version, which has just been released from Umbrella Entertainment. It's very dated.
Who's in that one?
Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange. It's okay. It's all right. I thought it was all right.
It's incredibly dated.
It's so dated.
The special effects
special effects are so bad. It's a guy in a monkey suit and some like really, really primitive, like green screen stuff. It's really bad, but I thought it was fun just for what it was, just because how bad it is. I think for a product of its time, it's a huge movie. Like it made a lot of money. It was huge at the time. So if you look at it through like that kind of lens, vintage lens, it's a great film. But it's pretty bad.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to look at it for the time it was made, not for today's standard.
Exactly right.
Same with all those old things.
Yeah, that's right. I also got in Major Dundee, which is one of the imprint titles.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the, the imprint ones from Viavision. Charlton Heston,
was the world's best worst actor?
Yeah.
Or was it the worst best actor?
No, the best worst actor, because he's a terrible actor, but he was the best terrible actor out there. Richard Harris, James Coburn, a bunch of others. It was all right. Like it's a big epic, directed by Sam Peckinpah did that, who did a lot of great, like especially Western epics and stuff of the era, like 40s, 50s, sort of thing. It's a big epic, but it's a bit boring. It goes on, it just keeps going on and on and on. And you got Charlton Heston in the lead, but the battle scenes and stuff are incredible.
I think I've seen it, but it would have been years ago when I saw that. I wouldn't remember it.
It's a good film, but it's just like a very tedious one. It was like 2.5 hours because there's it's got the theatrical and the extended cut in there. So I watched the extended one. It was just a little bit too long, a bit drawn out. But the action scenes and stuff when it gets to that, is so good, so good. And now the last 3 days I've been watching A Town Called Alice, which is an Australian miniseries from like the 1980s.
Yeah,
Brian
I watched
Brown.
it. I saw it when it was on television.
Really good. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Sort of set in the backdrop of the Second World War.
Yep.
These two people meet. Man, a woman sort of fall in love over there, and then they get separated, and it's all about them trying to come back together after the war. Just really great show.
Again, it's set in the outback, isn't it?
It is set in the outback, out in Alice Springs.
Alice Springs,
Town Like
Alice, yeah.
So it's another one that's just a little bit dated, but for what it is, it's really great. Just a seminal miniseries in Australian history. And, I just love my Australian films. I've been trying to make a big effort recently of trying to get my hands on a lot of them. And, Umbrella's just brought that one out on DVD. So it's a good one to just check out. I'm really enjoying that one.
And for those overseas that don't know, Alice Springs is right in the heart of Australia, and it's a hot, dry place, like desert.
It's what you think when you think desert Australia.
Yeah, it's like the soil is rich red colour, and it's during summer the 40, 45, 50 degree temperatures every day for months on end.
Yeah. Crazy. So it's good. So sort of it goes between sort of like the Asia and the war, and then comes to Australia and England, and it's like a globe-trotting thing. Really, really good series. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying that.
I remember watching it when it was first on all those years ago, and really enjoyed it then.
Yeah, very good. 3 parts. I've watched 2.5. I got half in this morning, then I do some work.
So it's worth having a look at.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll be covering all of those in the upcoming Blu-ray DVD update. I've been meaning to get it done.
When you get time.
I will get it done next week, I promise.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
No. It'll be done. It has to be done next week. It has to be done next week. Because I've been promising the distributors I'd review this stuff. I've had it for about a month, and it's just trying to work through it all. There's so many movies there. But I'm finally at the back end there. We've watched a few new movies this week. We got in 4 movies last weekend. I almost forgot. We were going to say this at the top of the show. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
To our American
friends. We got some American family.
And Canadian. And
hope they have a great day.
Yeah.
It's obviously a huge thing for them. It means a lot to them.
Yeah.
doesn't mean much to us.
Well, we
because
don't observe it.
We
here,
don't observe it. We don't really know the significance of it. But,
well, I think it's an important thing. I mean, it's sort of like they pay respects or they give thanks for the harvest of the previous season. That's where it kind of comes back from. But it's sort of used as a holiday to just give your thanks to whatever's you're thankful for of that. I've probably butchered it, but
probably
that's as far as
if you got it wrong, Americans, please let him know.
Yeah. As far as
I know very little about Thanksgiving. I just know it's a public holiday.
That's what I pulled from movies and stuff. But I think it's an important holiday for them, and it's prelude to Christmas, and they got the big holiday season, all that stuff. So I was going to say at the top of the show, but happy Thanksgiving. It's past by the time this podcast goes up, but it's still kind of that holiday period.
Exactly.
But back to the movies. We got in a couple of new movies this week. Finally, 4. We got in 4 last weekend, which is good. Usually we get in 2 or 3. We watched Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh, I loved it.
Shia LaBeouf and
really
Dakota
that.
Johnson.
It's really
brilliant
my
movie.
sort of film. Really enjoyed it.
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah.
I had to import that one on Blu-ray from the UK.
Yeah.
It's like $12 on Amazon. So cheap. To import stuff now.
Such a good film too.
That was brilliant. Loved
it. I really enjoy Shia LaBeouf. He does some offbeat stuff, and that's a little bit offbeat as well. But it is a really beautiful, heartwarming story.
Yeah, gorgeous film.
And the young guy that's his sidekick.
Yeah,
I suppose you call him a sidekick.
Yeah.
Is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And it really warms your heart to watch. And if you haven't seen it, you get out and have a look at it.
It's one of those.
Just a beautiful little film.
Deeply moving film, and there's a character work on all 3 of the main characters.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
all going through different things and how they all come together and help each other. Just one of those just great films.
Yeah.
It's like easily, I reckon, a 5-star film, that one.
Oh, right up there for me.
4.5, 5-star.
Definitely 4.5, definitely.
I can't remember what I gave it on Letterboxd. I think 4.5.
Yeah, no.
Very good, brilliant film.
Loved it.
And after that, it might not have been directly after that, but we did watch it on the weekend. Short Term 12. Brie Larson, Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Terrific as
enjoyed
well.
that. Really enjoyed that one as well.
Man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We get the good stuff.
Yeah, we've got some good ones at the moment.
This was an import as well from the UK. I think it was a bit more expensive. It was like $17 or $18. But it's from an independent label, and it's just like... So like these movies, these 2 you could get on DVD here, but they didn't bring out the Blu-rays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because some of them, the independent ones, the independent labels pick them up and then just don't put the Blu-ray out. Just put a DVD out. There's some of these movies, I guess, probably don't sell that well on Blu-ray here.
I wonder what the reason for that is. It can't be more expensive to produce a Blu-ray than a DVD.
No, I think it's more that DVD still vastly outsells Blu-ray here. And I think for the smaller films, there's still probably people out there who would rather buy the Blu-ray over would buy the DVD over the Blu-ray of the film.
I just don't get that.
So they just don't release the Blu-ray.
For an extra couple of bucks, and sometimes the Blu-ray's cheaper.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you just go to that extra... Maybe they don't have the player to play them.
But that's the thing, though. So there's a lot of people who still don't...
You're going to buy a player for $200, less than $200.
There's still a lot of people who just don't see the difference.
Yeah, because they don't upgrade their cables and stuff.
I don't know. But yeah, so...
And in fact, I think my sister-in-law, I think they still only have a DVD player too, don't they?
I think so. I'm not sure. I know they don't buy Blu-rays.
It's only DVD. They only have a DVD.
Crazy.
Because they don't see the value in watching something with a better quality picture, I suppose. Yeah. I don't know the reason, but
I don't know how 4K is selling here. I don't think 4K is selling very well at all, and that's why it's so cheap here. Like you buy 4K stuff over in the UK, it's like £30 a disc, which is like equivalent $60 here, and you get it for $12 here. On special $15.
Well, that's right. I mean, we were at JB yesterday looking at some stuff, and they had. What was it 2 for $40 and then 30% off that? So they worked out to
like
$14 each or something.
Yeah.
$28 for the 2.
Yeah,
and they're dirt cheap. No, 20. No, that's not right.
Yeah, it was like $14 with 30% off.
20. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah.
There's a couple of things I was looking at, but I spent too much otherwise. So I didn't get any 4Ks. But yeah, you can get them really cheap. I don't know. I think. The Blu-ray market in general here is just not. It's so niche still. So even like a lot of the titles, like particularly like the imprint ones, like they're doing runs of 1,500 of these because it's just such a niche market, sort of thing. So and like even like the umbrella ones, you got to grab them before they sell out, and they just go out of print.
Yeah.
So
No, actually, it's funny you say that because we standing next to somebody yesterday at JB and they were picking up DVDs and I said, still buying DVDs.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
No, yeah, it's just
a lot of people still buy them.
They can't move Blu-ray. Well, it was funny because I worked in HMV, FOP, which is like the regional version of HMV when I was over in the UK a couple of years back. And I reckon I was there for a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And, of course, HMV is like a media store over in the UK, like JB Hi-Fi or Best Buy. And I reckon the 2 months I was there, I reckon I could count the number of Blu-rays I sold on two hands.
Really?
And it was all DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
That really surprises me.
Yeah, it was all DVD, and I just thought, what on earth?
Actually, well, maybe not. I mean, Australia has a reputation of uptake of new technology faster than most countries in the world, but that surprised me that we don't. Yeah. You know, that still outsell DVD still outsell Blu-ray here.
That's crazy.
But that's
Oh, so there you go.
Bizarre.
We also watched Bloodshot with Vin Diesel.
You know, it was okay.
It's one of those ones that's got like a really good premise and it starts really strong and then it just sort of fizzles the longer it goes on.
Just sit there brain dead watching something like that.
Pretty much. I don't know. It was
okay. It wasn't, I wouldn't go back and watch it again.
No.
Whereas Peanut Butter Falcon and Short Term 12, I'd watch it again.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
With no doubt.
But no, Bloodshot. I mean, I knew it was going to be crap because it got terrible reviews, but it was okay. It was in like a Saturday night movie.
We sort of have a rule when we buy DVDs, Blu-rays. Not DVDs.
That's the problem.
And DVDs only when you can't get anything else.
Just TV, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Or stuff like that.
Yeah. We have a rule. We don't purchase too many things with less than a rating of 6 on IMDb. Now that has I think got it for 5.7 or something. So I don't know why we bought it and watched it, but
I think you make an exception for something like that, like a big film, Vin Diesel. You know what you're going to get into. That's the kind of thing where you just kind of like, I want to check it out.
Mind you, we've bought a few Jason Statham ones that are under 6, and you know what you're getting with them, and they're just good fun. That's
the point of it. Sometimes you just want something that's a bit brain dead. And I think that's why I put Bloodshot on as well. I was just like, I don't want to think about anything tonight. I just put this on and to see what it is.
Mind you, we've bought some films that are like 7 or 8. Rating of 7 or 8 on IMDb, and they've been absolutely tried.
Didn't like them, I find Rotten Tomatoes is like a better gauge these days, particularly as you can gauge it between the critics and the audience. So you kind of have a better idea of what you're going into.
So that's what we do. Just to let you all know, if we're at JB together, which we have to because I double up on buying stuff if I'm not with Dave because I don't remember what we do and don't have. I'll have the IMDb app open and I'll be checking IMDb and he'll be checking Rotten Tomatoes and we'll sort of compare them and think, that's okay, let's get that.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to sort of try and not buy too many trashy films.
Because sometimes you pick something up and you're like, it looks really great, and you look at IMDb and it's like 4. So when I picked up yesterday, it was like 3 something. I was like, this looks good, really great cast, sounds good. I looked at 3, what?
Well, there's something else I picked up, it was like 4.3 or something that looked really good, and I thought, I don't think so.
No. Another one we watched was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Now that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was good fun.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was just a good fun film.
Just silly fun.
Yeah,
just Sonic, very funny. The scene where in the hotel and he's going crazy, he's running around pulling the toilet paper off and dancing on the toilet, and I thought it was so fun. I was laughing. And the scene in the bar where it's causing a ruckus in the bar. It's just very funny. And Jim Carrey, of course, back on form.
Yeah.
Playing classic.
Jim Carrey playing Jim Carrey.
I mean, I slagged off Johnny Depp a couple of weeks ago for just playing himself in every movie he does, but I feel like Jim Carrey, you can kind of excuse it.
Well, he can't play anything else.
No.
but he's always good fun.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I think that's maybe a difference between a comedic actor because you know what you're getting into because that's their shtick, really.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who's like a serious actor who's trying to do a serious job but is just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
But it was like watching Jim Carrey in something like The Mask or Cable Guy or
the
whichever,
Grinch.
The Grinch. Yeah, exactly right.
But so fun.
But he's always good fun.
Yeah, but that was the first movie he's done like that for so long.
And you got really excited in the last scene
Oh yeah, with the reveal at the end. Yeah. Can we spoil it? It's been out for a year.
It's been out for a year, but it was probably suited.
Yeah.
He got really excited when he saw Knuckles appear.
Oh, yes. I used to play as Knuckles I had the Sonic and Knuckles on, it must have been on the Sega, wasn't the Genesis, Mega System. And then I had it on the PC as well. I was always Knuckles. I don't know why. I think it's because maybe he could fly. I don't remember though, but I was always Knuckles. And I saw it there. I was like, yes, make a second one happen, please. Sonic and Knuckles would be brilliant. I watched a couple of Disney Plus movies last weekend. Actually, no, it was a couple of weekends ago, actually. Black Beauty, which I believe went up last week, or does that go up tonight at the time of recording this? I actually think that goes up today, but I'm allowed to talk about it. My review's up. It was okay. I mean, it's for its demographic, it's good. I'm not particularly one that gets drawn to like horse movie. Like if you think of a movie about horses and stuff, it's the kind of thing that you really expect. I've never seen any of the previous Black Beauties. I never read the book.
I was going to say, how many of them have been made?
Oh, so many. Like back to the 40s. When you look, it was like the first one was like 1940 something. I've never seen any of them. I don't know much about it. I know that they sort of changed it a little bit. I thought it was good. Like it was a really nice, gorgeously filmed movie. Like cinematography in it is incredible. Performances are really good. Mackenzie Foy, really talented young actress, and Kate Winslet does the narration. She does like the horse. She's the voice of the horse of Black Beauty. But it's such like her voice is just so enchanting. It's almost like puts you to sleep.
Oh god.
It's like she's done a lot of like natural history docos for like BBC and stuff. Like one about I think penguins or something she did, and one about like polar bears. It's that real kind of natural history documentary narration that you think of that kind of makes you want to fall asleep.
Oh god.
So I was sitting there just like trying to keep myself awake. But look,
I'd be in the land of nod real quick.
I think so. And it's a good movie for what it is, and people for that particular demographic will love it. But for me, it wasn't.
I enjoyed one or two of the early ones, particularly the original 1940s. Is not a bad film.
I haven't seen any of them.
No, it's not a bad film, that one.
I also watched Godmothered, which comes out like next week or the week after. I'm embargoed on this one. I won't say anything. That one's got Isla Fisher in it and Gillian Bell. Gillian Bell is in it. Again, I can't say anything about it. I have a review for that one up this week. Godmothered. It's like a family fantasy, Christmassy sort of comedy movie sort of thing. I can't say anything about it. And I've got a screener for Safety, which is the next Disney Plus movie, which is in December. Haven't watched it yet. I'll be embargoed on that until like mid-December, early December. We'll watch that probably this weekend. That one looks really good. Safety. I watched Taylor Swift Folklore. That's what I had on while I was working. It's a documentary. She recorded an album. It's a documentary sort of concerty sort of musical thing on Taylor Swift's recent album that she recorded in lockdown. So it's called Taylor Swift Folklore, the Long Pond Studio Sessions. Essentially, what she did was she just started writing songs. She sort of just wanted to write music and just as a way to escape from being locked down. And it eventually gave birth to an album.
I was going to say, she's hooking into ex-boyfriends and stuff again? Or?
No, it's a very different kind of thing. Like, it's actually a really good album. It's like more folky and more down to earth. I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan, but it's a really good album. I think the documentary is really interesting because it's just the way they recorded it. She's recording from her house and via live link to a studio in New York, and they've got the band playing in New York while she's at home recording the vocals live.
Wow.
It's quite incredible. And it's just like a really interesting look into the process of creating this just, I guess, almost an unprecedented sort of thing.
Oh.
And it's...
Do I need to have a look at it?
I think you'd be interested in it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be interested in it. I wouldn't mind watching it in here with the surround. Like I said, I just had it on while I was working and just sort of listening to, because it shows kind of clips of them recording it, but the main thing is her sitting down with the two guys that actually played the instrumentation on the album. And it's the first time they actually were able to be in person and record it and play the music together. And then sort of interspersed is like her kind of talking about what her inspiration behind it was, and them talking about how they recorded the logistics of it. They got she has a track on there with the lead singer from a band called Bon Iver. And again, same thing. You've got the people in New York recording and mixing, and then she's at her home, and then he's somewhere else. And they do this whole live link sort of thing. And then because for this documentary, when they're all filming together, playing together for the first time, they couldn't get this guy from Bon Iver to come and join them. So as Taylor Swift and the two musicians are recording at this studio, they've got this guy from Bon Iver on the live link to record. It's just really just crazy.
Technology is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think, especially for that, if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just brilliant. Just kind of getting an eye into that, and I think she's really fantastic. Like she's a very business savvy person, and the way she manages her brand and the way she it's just really that kind of modern kind of artist thing where you take control over your own work and all that kind of... I think she's very inspirational in that regard, and I always have. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of her music, but this album is really, really good album, and this documentary in particular, very, very interesting to check out, I think.
I might check that out.
We'll take a look at that one.
Have a bit of a look.
But yeah, for sure. So check that. I'm not going to do a review or anything on that.
Of course, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan,
No.
but, I don't mind a documentary on that sort of...
Yeah, it was very good. I was very, she dropped the album out of nowhere. She's, like I said, she was just recording it at home. Didn't even, they said this in the documentary, she didn't even tell her record that she was making this new album until 2 weeks before they released it or something. And then she kind of rang them up and was like, I want to release this new album. We've just recorded, it's all ready to go. And they're like, all right, let's do it. And they dropped it out of nowhere. So it's one of those things
So
where...
she didn't tell the record company?
Didn't tell the record company. It was just doing this album, doing her own thing. I mean, that's crazy. And then they just dropped the album just one day. Just like, oh, here's a new album. And she only released one 12 months earlier, if maybe less than that. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. They released it digitally. And then I think only just recently they brought out the physical copies of it. And then this documentary came out of nowhere.
Wow.
On Disney Plus one day, I woke up.
How's it doing? Do you know whether it's selling? Or?
The album, I'm not sure. But everyone's going on about how good it is, and that's why I listened to it in the first place. And it's a really good album. It's not like her usual poppy sugar pop or whatever you want to call it. It's just real folk kind of down to earth, stripped back, sort of acoustic sort of thing. Very different to anything else she's done. Really good album. And definitely worth checking that out. Like I said, it just dropped out of nowhere. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday on Disney Plus. So she obviously sold it off to Disney Plus, and they just put it up on the service straight away. Because I got an email from my contact over at Disney Plus, Taylor Swift folklore thing up now. So there you go. So she came out of nowhere. So very secretive. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, take a look at that one. TV wise, we finished Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun.
Oh my God. What a wild ride.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Oh, God.
We sung our praises for it last week. It just gets crazier and crazier, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we've just had a look at some of the earlier stuff from YouTube.
It's just
Bikey Wars.
Wow, oh my gosh.
It's hilarious.
Bikey man from a bikie gang.
Oh, those overseas, if you want to see what some Australian humour's like, get onto it and have a look.
Like I said to you before, we had watched the biker gang one again because it came on my feed.
Yeah. In fact, just before we came on, we watched the live stage version of it.
Yeah. It's very Australian comedy. I don't know. It's the first Australian comedic act in a very long time that's made me laugh in the way that these guys make me laugh.
Me too. It's very offbeat and it's very crude and it's everything you don't really expect.
Yeah.
But it's just brilliant. The guys is quite brilliant.
Yeah.
And I can't understand how they got a Netflix deal.
Oh, I know.
I look at that and I think, how the hell did they get a Netflix deal?
I know, it's crazy. But they obviously saw that they're popular, like stage shows, the YouTube stuff, and their podcasts and everything, and Netflix took a chance. I mean, that's what they excel at, isn't it? Netflix just going, you know what? Yeah, give them a go.
And the thing that surprised me was when we were watching that live version before, is the whole audience was singing along.
Yeah.
Geez, how long have they been around? I don't know.
They must be. Yeah, I think they've been around.
Well, the first introduction I had to it, and I didn't realise it was them, was the Pud.
Christmas Pud.
Always got room for Christmas Pud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first, and I didn't
ago.
realise. I visited my brother and his family last weekend, and we were talking about it. And my niece actually said to me, she said, "Oh, they're the guys that did that Christmas pud." I said, "Oh, really?" And I just didn't realise.
Yeah, because it's funny because after we'd watched Big Ol' House of Fun on Netflix, I got on their YouTube and just having a look at their stuff, and I saw that Christmas pud, and I thought, the hell have I seen this? I've seen this video.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Well, your cousin Cass showed you.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Always a bit of room for pud.
Couldn't do another thing.
I mean, just check it out. It's a great show. It is so good. The YouTube stuff, the Netflix show. It's crazy that stuff like that can get such a big pedestal these days.
Oh yeah. One thing that you can sort of compare it to, I think, is Family Guy.
Yeah.
When they labour the point.
Oh yeah.
And they just go on and on and on about a single word or single joke or something, and they just hover on it and hang on it and everything else.
You get recurring jokes and just all that cutaway stuff and very sketch oriented and weird musical numbers, and it's just such a fun show. Oh man, so good.
Check it out. It's
great. Check them out if you haven't already. But it sounds like we're probably in the minority of people who haven't discovered them at this point.
Probably.
But yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Check that one out. Another weird show we've been watching. We polished off season 1 in 3 days. Future Man.
Oh, yeah.
This is one that I've been sent over from Viavision. Released this one. Was it Viavision? Yeah. Viavision put this one out on. Yeah, I got so much coming in. But yeah, Viavision released this one on Blu-ray. 3 seasons. I forgot to put it here, but it's 3 seasons, and I think that's the end of it. And it stars, what's his name? Josh. I forgot his name. Josh
from
Hunger Games films. Hutcherson. Josh Hutcherson, I think. And Ed Begley Jr.'s in it. And just
I love Ed Begley Jr.
It's this weird kind of like science fiction comedy. It's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg produced it. They directed the first few episodes as well. And it's almost like just a big like parody on 80s sci-fi comedy adventure kind of films. You think of Back to the Future, just really anything like that, like Aliens, movies like that. And it's like a massive parody of that kind of stuff. And he's there. And
it's not the right one.
He's trying to look it up on IMDb.
Yeah, it's not
there. Future Man, 2 words.
Oh,
that'll explain it.
Yeah.
So it's he kind of like it's so hard to explain, but he this guy and this normal guy just kind of gets swept up in this time traveling adventure with a couple of like video game characters. Essentially,
well, yeah, he plays a video game. And he's the first one to defeat the video game.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the video game is a training program for the saviour.
Yeah.
And he becomes the saviour.
Yeah.
And the adventures they get on are just a little bit left of centre, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, if you think of Seth Rogen stuff, I mean, that's, sort of your thing. I guess it's like Pineapple Express, but if it was a sci-fi action sort of thing, that really weird, kind of quirky.
Yep.
But
typical Seth Rogen.
Yeah. It's so much fun though. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoying it. We've got through season 1, like I said, in like 3 days.
3 or 4 episodes a night we watched.
Yeah. It's really good. Short seasons, 13. The first 2 seasons are 13 eps, and the third season's 8, I think. Haley Joel Osment is in it too. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Osment.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
He's
yeah, a bit of a wacko. Yeah. Funny. Yeah, so check that one out. That's out on Blu-ray from Viavision. Again, I'll be reviewing that one in the Blu-ray DVD update video coming out soon.
Again, we're late on to it, obviously, because it was 2017.
17, yeah.
There's probably most people out there.
Probably. Well, it was a Hulu show. It was on Hulu over in the States, and we don't really get the Hulu stuff here.
No,
I think they put it on Foxtel. The only way you could watch it was on Binge at the moment, which is the Foxtel-owned streamer.
Oh, okay.
So I think even in that regard, it's probably maybe more of an obscure thing. But if you're into that kind of thing, you've probably discovered it by now. What else we watched? Mandalorian episode 4. We watched, of course, last Friday.
Still worth watching.
Still great. It was a bit of another filler episode. Not much really happened, but some nice explosions and special, like the graphics and stuff in last week was great. Like I was watching it, just thinking like this is just like watching a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing the amount of money they put into these things now.
100 million a season.
Yeah, their movie budget.
Yeah.
And that's why they only do, 8 episodes or 10 episodes or whatever it is a season. Put all the money into a short. Because back in the day, they used to be 25, 26.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes 30-odd episodes a season.
Mm-hmm.
But production values weren't great.
No. I mean, you look at stuff like X-Files or anything like that, older sci-fi shows, and the graphics are just so primitive.
Yeah, exactly.
To get something like this, which is still essentially a television program, is crazy. It's just like watching a movie. Really good. So yeah, of course everyone's watching The Mandalorian at the moment, episode 4. It's a Friday as we're recording this. That means it's Mandalorian night tonight. He's almost jumped the gun there. If you're watching, oh, he got it. Got the hat. It's a Deadwood update. Do you have a drum roll for this week?
Drum roll.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
0
episodes.
We thought we'd just keep him with the Melbourne theme this week and
zeros.
All the zeros. No, truth of the matter is it was boring as batshit. No, it's not that. It's just we just haven't had time this week to watch any.
No,
and we were sort of in the middle of the season 2, and it's a bit. There's a bit of a lull there, so there's been some other stuff we've been hooked onto.
It is. It's so boring. It can be really boring.
We're still going to get through it though. We have to get through it this time.
We'll do it.
Because I'm not going to put it away for another 5 years and try again.
No.
No way on God's earth.
Yeah, no. And yeah, so no, none this week. We've had a little bit more backlash on the Deadwood update, actually. Wacko Jacko.
Oh, God.
He's always moaning.
Whinging about
okay,
now?
So last week he was moaning that we didn't... he was moaning that we didn't actually review the Deadwood episode in the Deadwood update, so he wanted some more elaboration. And this week he's saying just get rid of the Deadwood update altogether. He says get rid of it. Doesn't work.
No. Going to keep doing it.
Can't get rid of it. I mean, what? I mean, that's the beauty of the podcast, isn't it? We're reviewing a 16-year-old, entirely irrelevant program on the Deadwood update.
Just like the podcast.
People love it.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the Deadwood update this week. It's staying around. Sorry, Wacko.
Yep. They're going to keep doing it, mate.
Yeah. And Tim says it's got to stay.
Yeah.
He says it's brilliant.
I agree with Tim.
Tim loves the bit where you are not enjoying Deadwood at the moment.
Oh.
He says his favourite part.
Tim, I tell you what. I'm assuming you've watched it, but I don't know how you got through it.
Terrible.
If you did.
No, not terrible. It's just,
It's just
boring.
It's just that right in the middle of season 2, it's just gone.
Yeah, and just when you expect them for it to pick up, and it just kind of just drags.
Sort of enjoyed season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1 was good.
Yeah.
And at the end of season 1, you thought, wow, it's really going to ramp up now.
Yeah, no.
It's gone the other way.
Terrible.
But we'll get
Again, not terrible, but we'll get there.
No,
we'll get there.
It's not far from terrible. A couple of last episodes.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to sponsor for this episode, of course, the New Zealand Mint reached out to me, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now, maybe a bit longer ago.
Yep.
Sort of it's been in the works. They reached out and they said, hey, we love what you're doing on your YouTube. We know you've got a big following of, reasonably sizable following of people who love collectibles and pop culture and stuff. And they said, look, we're launching this new collection. Would you like to help us exclusively launch it? So they gave me the exclusive
didn't
launch of
realise
this.
that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they said this is exclusive. They showed me the product a little while ago. I've been they've do not tell anyone. Do not show it. Do not share it.
No, we couldn't tell anybody anything about it.
So,
but now we can. It was released today.
It was released today at the time of recording this. So you'll see me posting sort of little advertisements and stuff for this. They'll be attached to my YouTube videos and stuff. I'm very happy to do this because this is something I don't think I've ever spoken about on the channel before, but I am a little bit of a coin collector.
Bit of a coin nerd he is.
Yeah. They wouldn't have known this, the Mint, either. But when they reached out to, of course, if you don't know what the Mint is, I mean, I'm sure you do, but they're the place that commissions or
they print the money,
basically. And they make coins. But what a lot of the mints do now, New Zealand Mint and of course the Royal Australian Mint does it as well. They do like collectible coins and collectible notes and stuff like that you can. The New Zealand Mint, I was looking on their website, they do like Disney ones. There's this awesome Fantasia coin that they're doing at the moment. I think I want it. Yeah. And they they do like I think I saw like Harry Potter on there. There's DC ones, Star Wars ones, like heaps of stuff, like great pop culture stuff on there. And they've just launched their brand new Lord of the Rings line, which is what I'm helping them launch at the moment, which is awesome. If you're out there watching the video, you can see it. But if you're just listening, head to any of my socials or my channel or whatever, and you'll see me kind of helping them advertise this thing. And what it is, it's a 35-gram premium silver foil. It comes in this awesome envelope, and if you slide it out of the envelope,
it's made of 999 fine silver.
Fine silver, premium silver. Like if you get a look at that, it is it's awesome. It's so cool. Yeah. It comes in a perspex thing so you can display it.
It is incredible.
If you look on the back, it's got essentially, like if you're listening out there, I'm not doing a great job. What essentially it is like a big note made of silver.
Yeah.
And it's pressed silver, so it's kind of rolled and pressed, and they etch into it, and they print on it as well. I don't know how, but they printed on it, etched it, and it is a map of Middle-earth from Lord of the Rings. So if you imagine that classic Lord of the Rings map, that's what it is printed on. Again, what is essentially a big note, but because it's made of silver,
it's almost A4 size, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'd say so. Almost.
It's not quite. It's smaller than A4.
Let's say on the back there, it is 175 by 266 millimeters in dimension, and it's actually really quite heavy. Well, it is silver, I suppose, but then you slide it out, it's really thin, like it is literally.
And this is actually legal tender too.
It's legal tender. It says on the back $2.
$2 legal tender.
So I could go into a store in New Zealand and buy something with this
for $2.
For $2, they would legally have to accept that as legal tender. I don't know why you would, because it's
it is just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful.
It is stunning. I love this thing. And this is, like I said, it is like a note, but it's actually a coin.
Yeah,
because it's made of silver. It's a coin.
Yeah,
Again, as someone who's a bit of a nerdy coin man, I'd never really heard of a silver foil. Maybe I had, but I never really kind of looked into what they're all about. But it's awesome, and it's got that nice shimmer in there, and so good. But like again, if you're listening, check out my my YouTube or my socials and stuff, and you'll see that awesome silver foil.
Even better still, get onto the New Zealand Mint.
Oh yeah, get on their website and buy one. Yeah. Exactly right.
And have a look at the other stuff they got, because they've got other coins, as they call them, that are just as good as that.
Amazing.
We didn't
really
realise
amazing
they're just
stuff.
so beautiful.
Like,
I think was there some Disney ones as well on there? Or?
Yeah, that's what I said before, Mickey Mouse ones and stuff. And there's like the Star Wars ones, it's like the original theatrical posters printed on a silver foil. God. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so nzmint.com, you can head over there. There's only 2,000, strictly 2,000 units.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Once they're gone, they're gone. They're not allowed. They've only authorised 2,000. I believe they've chosen the number 2,000 because that's the year the movie was released.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming because the Fantasia one was like a 1942 pressing or whatever, whenever that was made. I think 42 or 41. And whatever the year, 1940, because it's the anniversary this year. So the pressing of the Fantasia one is 1940.
Oh, 1940.
Yeah, 1940. So this one is 2,000 units. Of course, Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring is celebrating the 20th anniversary this year, the film. So like I said, that's amazing. Like I don't know how young I was when I first started collecting coins.
Oh, you're only young. You're probably only 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old, something like that.
And it's weird because I don't really collect collectible coins, or a lot of them. I've got some.
No, that's right.
What I collect is really weird is the circulated coins. Occasionally you'll get them with like colours on them or like a different picture on there, like instead of the regular picture,
like 2000 Olympics.
Yeah.
Sydney Olympics. Yeah. Those type of things.
So the circulated coins that go out to the public you can actually use and spend. Yep. So I collect all them, and there's been so many, like hundreds of different variants they've done over the years, back to like the 70s, the 80s. And I just collect them, just the different ones. Charles and Diana wedding, 20-cent piece or 50-cent piece, whatever. So I've got like this big tin, and I'm still trying to track down a lot of these circulated coins. It's just a weird thing that I just like. That's something a bit different.
Get it from your grandmother.
Yeah, my grandmother sent it over.
She used to collect some coins.
Yeah, so that's fun.
got a little container of coins, and she made sure she's got, five of each coin or whatever she's got. So when she passes, each of us get one.
Well, there you go.
They're not going to be worth anything.
No, well, no,
it'll be good.
The circulated coins aren't worth anything. But
they're worth their face value.
These ones here, this is something that will go up in value for sure.
Oh,
there's only 2,000 units. They're going to be very. A lot of people are going to want this. It's gorgeous, like I said.
So that'll appeal to not just coin collectors, but Lord of the Rings collectors.
Lord of the Rings, that's what I mean. Just memorabilia collections.
Yeah. And it's really it really is. I mean, get on, even if you're not going to buy one, get on to the New Zealand Mint website and have a look around.
Yeah.
They got some
awesome stuff.
Amazing things on there.
So it's nzmint.com. nzmint.com.
Get onto it.
Just great stuff. And that, like I said, amazing. I was so excited when they reached out to me. At first I was like, is this legit? Because I get many...
You wouldn't have known about these things.
No
otherwise.
Way. No way. And they were like, oh, look, we've seen your channel. We just think,
it's good fit.
We want to do this, and they fit really well. Really great people over there. And, it's awesome. I love it. I love it so much.
But the Kiwis, they're just like Aussies, but nicer.
Yeah, well, exactly right.
They really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been over there. I've only been over there once for about a week, and cannot speak more highly of the country and the people there. They're just beautiful, beautiful people.
So once again, that is the 35-gram premium silver foil map of Middle-earth. It's 9995 silver. It's been rolled, pressed, printed on, and engraved, and it's limited to 2,000 units. So get on that. Again, whether you're a coin collector, you're just a Lord of the Rings fan, you're just someone who just loves your film memorabilia.
Or you just want to have a look at them.
Just want to have a look. It's a great display piece. And I mean, get on there and just check out all the stuff they've got. Even the DC ones, it's like printed like comic book covers and stuff like that. So good. I just think it's gorgeous. And because it's in the Perspex thing, I'll be able to display it somewhere. I don't know where, but I'll be able to put it up somewhere. And I love it. Go and check them out. Please check them out. nzmint.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Shall we get into some
news?
Movie news?
Yes. Move on.
Been a little bit of a slow week, which means... I'm looking at the dashboard here. We're going for 51 and a half minutes already. Reckon we can get an hour and a half in today?
We'll see, won't we?
See. We pushed 2 hours last week. We'll try not to go that long.
Might be 2 hours this week.
There's a couple of big bits, but I think because it's been Thanksgiving, they're a little bit more quiet on the big news and stuff. But the biggest one this week, again, this is something, pardon me, we've been talking about pretty much the entire length of this series, the 13 episodes we've done, is the changing face of cinema via streaming and streaming platforms and movies leaving cinemas and, sort of not just the whole face of the cinematic experience changing, essentially, in the course of these not even 12 months yet. Last week we had Warner Brothers announce that Wonder Woman 1984 was heading to streaming as well as theatrical release as well. This week, the word is that Godzilla Vs Kong, which is the next installment in this kind of like monsterverse that Warner Brothers is doing. It started with Kong Skull Island, and they did the two Godzilla films, and now they're doing Godzilla vs. Kong. The word is, a Hollywood Reporter is reporting that it's heading to streaming. Legendary Pictures, who made the film, Warner Brothers distributor, they've reportedly been trying to sell this off, or they've been trying to figure out what to do with it for this entirety of the pandemic. This, I think, should have been out by now, or was supposed to be out early next year or something. I think it was pushed. It was pushed into May next year. It was supposed to be out this, like, December or something. And then it was pushed into May next year. Are they still planning to keep that May release date?
Yep.
Apparently May 2021. But the release model is up in the air. But Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Netflix has made a more than $200 million bid to acquire the film from Warner's and Legendary Pictures.
What did it cost them to make?
I don't know. Probably not a whole lot more than that. It would have been probably...
So they're going to cut their losses and take the 200 plus?
Well, apparently the other part of it is that Warner Brothers is eyeing off an HBO Max release for it, as they did with Wonder Woman.
I read that Legendary, their investment in it is 75% of production.
Right.
Whereas Warner Brothers is only 25%, but Warner Brothers has more say in how it's distributed.
Well, yeah, because they're the distributor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which mate, I sort of think it's a bit. Oh, if you're putting 75% of the money up for it, you should have some say.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But obviously they don't. I mean, Warner Brothers will decide what they're going to do with it.
I think that gives you the leg up, being the distributor. You kind of just can choose what to do with it.
Obviously,
you used to hear horror stories of the Weinsteins buying movies and then shelving them just because,
never releasing
just
them.
for the sake of doing it. Because they were just kind of like that. I remember speaking to a director years ago, did an interview. I won't mention his name. I won't mention the film. But they bought the film for distribution and literally shoved it in the archive.
Didn't do anything with it.
I think they eventually released it on DVD after many years. And the director I spoke to said it was just so frustrating. Just want to get the film out. Yeah. And because they were the distributor, they're like, no, we're just going to leave it.
Did he write and produce it?
I think he did, yeah. But yeah, so stuff like that goes on all the time in Hollywood. These movies, you just hear like the famous blacklists and stuff, and just films that just get stuck in release hell. It's because studios buy them and then don't do anything with them. So Warner Brothers would have the hand up in, okay, this is what we're going to do with it, and they can choose how to do it. So the word is that Netflix wants to buy it for $200 million. But Warner's might want to release it to HBO Max and potentially do what they're doing with Wonder Woman and do a theatrical run alongside it. So they would make money back that way.
Well, that was the other thing I read earlier was that Warner are still insisting on May theatrical release next year.
Well, because Hollywood Reporter reached out to them and they said, this is their statement, they said, we plan to release Godzilla vs. Kong theatrically next year as scheduled. But how many times we heard that this year? Oh, it's coming out to cinemas. It's coming in cinemas, and the next week you hear Wonder Woman 1984 HBO Max. I mean that's going to cinemas as well. So it's a bad example. Maybe Tenet, where they're like, we're going to release Tenet. It's going to come out. That came out in cinemas too. What am I talking about? Mulan. There you go, Mulan. No, that's coming out. That was Mulan. We're bringing it out in theaters. They're not going to drop this on the streamer, and then 2 weeks later, it was Disney Plus Mulan.
Yeah, and you're paying for it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, $200 million Netflix have reportedly offered for it. And keep in mind, Amazon recently paid $125 million for Coming to America, the sequel, Coming to, the number 2, America, which is currently the record for a streaming service acquisition, $125 million. And now Netflix is trying to reportedly pay $200 million for the Godzilla vs. Kong.
It wouldn't surprise me if they pay more than that because Godzilla has a huge following.
Yeah.
Because it's Japanese, isn't it? Godzilla? I think it was originally Japanese.
Yeah.
So the Japanese, it's, cultural for them.
The toys and degree. Like those older films.
Yeah,
and just all that.
I can imagine it'll go bunter.
Oh, yeah. They'll love it.
Sure.
What would you do if you were like Warner Brothers, you were calling the shots? Would you take the $200 million or would you go, nah, we'll shove it on our streamer and put it in some cinemas and see if we can make some money that way?
I'd be taking the money.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be cutting their losses. They'll probably break even or make a little bit on it. But you would probably consider taking the money.
Yeah, give me the $200 million.
Because, at this point in time, you don't know what's going to be happening in cinemas and whether people are going to start going back to cinemas and stuff like that. So I would probably consider taking the money and running.
Yeah. That's sad, though, because this is the kind of movie you just want to see on a big screen.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
We didn't see the other 3 in cinemas, but I think this would be one I'd be keen to go out and check out at the cinemas. Like IMAX. Imagine that. Godzilla vs. Kong in the IMAX. I mean, man, that would be insane.
On the biggest screen in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what's happening with
I'd like
that.
to see it get a theatrical release.
I think so. I think we want to see everything get a theatrical release.
I think it probably will.
Probably, yeah.
I would think it will. I think there'll be some sort of deal. And if Warner Brothers have their way, it'll be released, and then it'll also go on HBO.
Yeah, probably. I think that's probably
because I think they've got an affiliation with HBO Max, haven't they?
They own HBO.
Oh,
Warner Media owns HBO. Yeah.
Well, they have an affiliation with them, don't they?
Yeah. There you go. That's why the Warner streaming service is HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
So that's all the Warner Media stuff is on HBO.
Okay. Didn't realise.
Yeah, there you go. Another big bit of news that's come out this week is that Marvel Studios are apparently prepping to shoot Black Panther 2 in July next year already.
Now, this is interesting.
Yeah, because they were originally supposed to shoot in March of next year, and then, of course, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Yeah.
And then they sort of went, no, we got to shut down production, and, it's time for us to not kind of think about what we're going to do. It's time to just kind of grieve the loss and, take the time with that. And I think it's past that period now where it's almost like, okay, we have to, get to business. We have to figure out what we're going to be doing with this film. I mean, how long's it been since he's passed now?
When did he pass?
Oh,
March?
August, I think. August.
Was it that late? I thought it was earlier.
So 3 or 4 months, probably. And now it's kind of at the point where they're like, all right, we've got to figure out what we're doing with this movie. And it's interesting because, like I said, it starts up in July, which is what, 8 or 9 months away? 8 months away. Essentially, 8.5 months.
Yep. August. He passed. August 28th.
Which really throws a lot of questions up in the air. Because another piece that's come out of this is that they have cast someone in the film, Mexican actor Tenoch Huerta. I probably pronounced that wrong. Again, I apologize. They're just completely butchering names.
Shocking with names.
But he was in Narcos Mexico, and he's apparently either been cast or he's in talks to play the villain in the film. So they're casting, they're ready to shoot in like 8 months' time. Ryan Coogler has recently, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, Ryan Coogler, who's the director and the writer of the film, came out and he mentioned that he'd been writing for Chadwick on this film for a year. So it took him a year to write this script. So with 8 months left to go before they're supposed to start shooting, and keep in mind, you're in pre-production for months before you even start shooting. Concept work, everything like that. Casting, concept, building sets before you start shooting. Are they really... I think the big question is, a lot of people just kind of assume they're going to, the character of T'Challa will pass away, and then Shuri will come in and take the throne, or someone else will come in and take the throne. Marvel apparently had no comment on this story, but they have said they will not use CGI to replace Chadwick Boseman with a CGI character. So the interesting thing is, keeping all this in mind, what are they going to do? I think
recast.
I think they're going to recast.
I'd have to.
I don't think they will.
How many films over the years have been recast with a different actor?
Yeah,
in the same role because somebody has passed.
The only thing that throws the spanner in the works for this is they're Marvel and they're so meticulous at needing to keep that person in the role. You had a couple of mishaps at the beginning with the Hulk. And Rhodey was played by Terrence Howard in the first Iron Man before Don Cheadle took over. But I think you've got 8 months. Ryan Coogler has previously said he was been working on this script for a year. You got 8 months to rewrite a script to completely. If you're going to, the character of T'Challa passes away, that opens up an entirely new story. So he essentially has to throw his old script away, completely rewrite a new script, come up with a new concept, write a new script, and then do all the pre-production work, build sets, do all the concept work, which takes years, in the space of 8 months. No way.
Can't say that happened.
I think we're still going to get the same movie we were going to get. They're casting, they're ready to shoot in 8 months' time. I just think they're going to recast
it. I can't see why not.
No.
The public will understand the reason why they had to recast
exactly
it.
Right.
Obviously.
It's one of those things you can't avoid.
Well, exactly right, and it's not like you're stepping on the grave of somebody.
No.
I see it as it's almost paying a tribute to the guy.
Just taking on the mantle.
Exactly right.
That's big shoes to fill though for someone.
Ooh, yeah, there's someone out there.
Oh yeah, someone will
no
take
idea
it.
who they.
I don't know. I wouldn't even theorize on it because I have no idea. I'll find someone.
If Michael B. Jordan wasn't in the first one, he'd be ideal.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously he can't be.
No, because he's the villain in the first one.
Unless he comes back as a good guy.
Good guy. They just swap the role.
Well, he gets stung by a bee or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I don't know. I just think I think that's definitely the route they're going to take. They'll recast. I mean, it's such an important character too. The film was monumental for so many things. I mean, social issues and stuff like that. And the character is such an important character as well. In that respect, to just kind of like kill the character off essentially. I don't think they'll do it.
No. Well, it was perfect timing and perfect casting, casting in perfect timing.
Yeah.
With that, because he was just ideal for the role.
Oh yeah. And I just think they'll just find someone else who is just as suited to the role, just as committed, and will pay some respect to Chadwick Boseman's performance.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it'll be interesting. I'm open to it. I mean, it's fine.
I hope they do recast it and they produce the film that they were going to produce.
Because otherwise you've got them writing a script, doing pre-production, rushing this film into production in 8 months' time. It will be awful. I mean, conceivably, you could probably do it. Marvel's a powerhouse studio, but it would be so rushed.
But then they're going to suffer the... there's the fear of them suffering Justice League type.
Well, exactly right, yeah.
Where they're rushing everything out to try and catch up to Marvel.
And
whereas they should have taken the time to...
Yeah, well, especially this property, the Black Panther property, I think is one that they definitely won't do that with because it is so important to so many people. It's such a groundbreaking set of characters, groundbreaking franchise, and
culturally really significant.
Yeah, culturally relevant and all that. Yeah, I just think, they couldn't rush it just for the sake of rushing it. I think they'll recast and they'll just go as they were planning. That's probably the best way to go. Yeah,
Sam Jackson.
What about him?
Cast him.
Old, isn't he? Surely.
Yeah, no, Marty joking. There's no way you even consider it.
No, like I said, it's not even. I wouldn't even theorize on this point. I think they'll probably find someone who's probably young and upcoming, and maybe we haven't seen a lot of recently.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope they do.
Yeah,
I hope they just recast it, and as I said, it's not stepping on his grave. It's be paying a tribute to the guy, and because he made it his own, and he made it such a significant film.
Yeah. Marvel are also in the news because apparently they're prepping Deadwood. Crikey. I've written Deadwood on my script. That's why I've done that.
You have to.
Deadwood 3, yes. No, they are prepping, I reckon a Marvel Studios Deadwood would probably be better than... anyway, Deadpool, only a couple of letters off. Deadpool 3 is being prepped by Marvel Studios. So this will be the first Deadpool that Marvel Studios is handling. Because previously it was Marvel Entertainment as part of Fox.
It's been interesting then.
Yeah, they've got writers on board, Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Logelin, who are writers on Bob's Burgers, which is an animated show.
Love it.
It's said Ryan Reynolds is coming back. He'll be playing I almost said Deadwood again. He'll be playing Deadpool. And so they're kind of saying it's definitely probably going to be a continuation of the other two films, as opposed to rebooting the whole franchise. But because Marvel Studios is now handling it, the big question is whether it will be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially considering Bob Iger has been very adamant that we'll keep it R-rated. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring now an R-rated franchise into the MCU or do keep it its own pocket universe. But then you've also got the whole idea of this, like the multiverses and stuff opening up in the films, especially if we're taking into account like the Spider-Man rumors and stuff, where we're apparently going to get, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come in, pull them out of the Doctor Strange comes through, opens up a portal. Grab Tobey Maguire, come here, Tobey, come on, Tobey.
Toby would be up for that. I think he's too busy at the moment.
Well, no, I don't think so. He's loaded, that guy. He's got so much money. He's just living the life. But I think the rumors are that there'll be like some sort of announcement real soon that those two are returning. They're filming now, Spider-Man 3. So usually around the time that the actors are required on set, they'll announce it before it gets out through the press or pictures or whatever come out. So I think that's a possibility because obviously Deadwood's all part of a different universe. The possibility would be they make another film and they connect it via like the multiverse thing. That would work, definitely, especially if that's the route that they're going with the series at the moment. But I don't know. But because it's R-rated, it's just like almost like
Doesn't fit in with...
yeah, because the MCU is so family-friendly, family-oriented at the moment. It's going to be interesting
It'd be great to see it all combined, though.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy because now you've got like the MCU, which is like 22 films at the moment or whatever it is. You've got probably like, 20-odd other Marvel movies, probably more, that are not part of that universe. They will now essentially all be part of this
single
universe. There'll be like their different pocket universes, but they will all come together. It's going to be crazy.
Doctor Strange has got a big job to do there.
Oh, I know.
Pull them all together.
Oh, come here. Hey, Eric Banner, come here.
Oh, no.
Eric Banner, Hulk. Yeah, come here.
I love Eric Banner, but no, don't.
Lou Ferrigno, come on in. Could you imagine like a Hulk team up? You got Eric Banner, you got Ed Norton.
Ed Norton, yeah.
Ed Norton
right.
come in. Technically, Ed Norton's playing the same Bruce Banner as Mark Ruffalo is, but I reckon they could find some way to be like, oh no, that's the alternate universe Bruce Banner. And then, so just imagine that. Like you've got Lou Ferrigno, you got Eric Banner, you got Ed Norton, and then you got Mark Ruffalo, just like Hulk team up. And then you got all the Spideys.
Oh, that would be so bad.
I think if anyone can pull it off, it's Marvel Studios.
The
more you talk about it, the more I talk about it, the more I talk myself out of wanting to see this.
Yeah, I don't think want to see that.
I don't know. We'll see. Talking about Doctor Strange, the villain from the first film, Mads Mikkelsen. Of course, Mads Mikkelsen, the actor who portrayed the villain in the first one. Mm-hmm. We spoke a few weeks ago. Johnny Depp got the axe from Fantastic Beasts 3. Because Warner Brothers just didn't want any of that kind of controversy anymore. And the word was then a couple of weeks ago that they were talking to Mads Mikkelsen to take up the role that Johnny Depp was playing, Grindlewald. And apparently, it is now confirmed. Warner Brothers come out and said, yep, Madsy boy, come over here.
Has been confirmed.
Yep. So there you go. So touch on that. I don't know if there's much else to say about it.
Got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, but that's confirmed. That'll be good.
I do enjoy Mads Mikkelsen. He's a
great actor.
Great actor.
So I think he'll be good. Again, it's another one of these things where they've got an out. Like Marvel Studios, you've got an out that you've got these different universes. You've got a multiverse. You can now just pull them all together.
Yeah.
Grindelwald is a character that can shapeshift. I mean, it's just such an easy way to just do it. So we've already had Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp play the same character.
Yeah, it's not bad replacing Johnny Depp.
No.
Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp.
As Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Yeah. Another big one this week, interesting, Universal Monsters. Universal is their monster universe. They've had a lot of trouble with it. They rebooted a lot of the monster movies like early 2000s. Most of them are pretty average. Then they tried to do this whole dark universe thing a few years ago, and their first movie out the gate, The Mummy, was trash and ruined the whole universe. Yeah. So they were going to do the one with Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man, and Angelina Jolie was going to do Bride of Frankenstein. It was going to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe thing where they all come together in a big monster mash at the end. So the first Mummy just tanked. And they went, no, we're not doing that anymore. They recently released The Invisible Man with Elizabeth. Why am I losing words today?
I've got no idea.
She's such a great actress. You saw the film.
Yeah, I know, but I can't remember who it was.
Elizabeth Moss. Elizabeth Moss. She's terrific. Yeah. She was amazing in it. The film was so good. And now they've gone, yes, we've hit a winning formula. And that is giving visionary directors their own free reign over a property. They do their own unique spin on the character. Let's do a whole monster universe, except instead of like a shared universe, it's just a bunch of different... Pardon me, I'll just hit the microphone now and get a bit excited. They've gone, yeah, let's get all these visionary directors in. They do their own unique takes on all the different monster movies. And they've got 12 in production now.
Oh, my God.
They've gone, yes, greenlight that one. Well, greenlight that one. This is off the back of one movie doing well.
Oh.
Insanely well, mind you. Insanely well. Great film. It did so well.
But don't jump the gun.
Oh, that one. Right, okay, so a few of the ones. This is on the back. They've just announced another one. They've got Channing Tatum is coming in. He's going to star in it's an untitled Universal monster movie, which is said to be a modern-day tongue-in-cheek thriller that is inspired by Universal's classic monster films. If we think of like Abbott and Costello ones, it's probably going to be something similar to that, like a comedy monster mash thing. It's got Phil Lord and Chris Miller on board I'm not sure if they're writing, but they're producing. They did the Jump Street films with Channing Tatum. They wrote Spider-Verse and the Lego movie. So
decent writers on it then.
So it's got a decent production team. So this is just, again, as I said, one of 12 that Universal's currently producing on the back of The Invisible Man doing really well. So a couple of the other ones, again, we spoke about the Scorpion King reboot a couple of weeks back. Yeah. Invisible Man sequel. They're doing an Invisible Man sequel with Lee Whannell.
Oh, that's okay.
Australian filmmaker.
The first one was good, so why not?
They're doing The Invisible Woman with Elizabeth Banks attached to star and direct.
That was sort of obvious from the first film that would happen, I think.
Yeah. So we're going to have Invisible Man 2 and Invisible Woman. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of people out there going, why do we Invisible Woman? Why are you just putting a woman in the role? Why are you doing that? Well, Invisible Woman was a film from the 1940s.
Yeah, that's
there
right.
was an Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
And it was a comedy film. It was like a really weird screwball comedy. And Elizabeth Banks primarily does comedic films, although she did Charlie's Angels. So I think probably, I imagine if they make it like a comedy action sort of thing, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Wolfman, starring Ryan Gosling, and again, Lee Whannell is apparently attached to that.
That might be right.
That might
Ryan
be pretty
Gosling.
good. There's a Dracula one in production. There's no kind of info on that. There's one called Renfield, which is based on Dracula's henchman, Renfield. It's going to be directed by Dexter Fletcher, who did Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocketman and Eddie the Eagle.
Well, I won't be watching that.
Yeah.
Eddie the Eagle was okay, but the other two were just trash.
I liked Rocketman.
Yeah, it was okay.
I loved Rocketman. That was great.
I can't say Rocketman was trash, but the other thing, Bohemian Rhapsody was just
awful.
crap.
Terrible movie. Frankenstein. There's another Frankenstein coming, of course. James Wan.
Oh.
He's going to reboot it. And, of course, he did
Love
the
his
Conjuring films and Saw and a lot of great stuff.
He scared the shit out of me sometimes.
Yeah, so that'll be quite good. Bride of Frankenstein, still kind of in a state of flux. David Koepp has written a script for that. And John Krasinski and Sam Raimi have both been courted recently to direct. So it'll be interesting. And there's one called Dark Army, which Paul Feig, however you pronounce his name, he's writing and directing, is going to feature monsters from the original movies and new characters. And it's the filmmaker, this is what it says on Wikipedia, is reaffirmed that it will be a horror movie, but that it will portray the monsters as rejects, similar to the original films. So that'll be interesting as well. And we got one called Monster Mash, which is going to be a musical.
Oh, no.
So already you're seeing like they're choosing a lot of these like really unique filmmakers, really visionary filmmakers who all have their very different styles, and they're all going to put their own little spins on these films and make them their own thing. I guarantee you at the end, if they do all these movies, and it's a big if they do all these movies, they all do insanely well, there's going to be a movie where they mash all the characters together. It's just going to be the Dark Universe. It's just like a roundabout way of doing the Dark Universe of going, we'll see how they go. Which is what they should have done in the first place. Right? So anyway, that's going to be interesting.
There might be some good films there.
I think so.
Some really good people attached to some of those.
Yeah. Like I love the Universal monster films. And even some of the trashy remakes from like the early 2000s, they're a lot of fun. Like they're enjoyable. Like the Mummy films were great. Well, the first two at least were really good.
I don't know if they were great. They were
great. They're great 90s action adventure films. Maybe I'm just saying that because I grew up with them.
Yeah, I think you got the blinkers on.
Oh, a lot of fun though. They're just
they
fun.
They were good fun, but
just fun.
Great films.
That was enjoyable. Right, so I don't know. We'll see what they do with all these.
Spin-off was worse.
The Scorpion King. Yeah, while they're rebooting it. So it'll be interesting.
Sure.
I think that's the biggest news out of the way for the week. There's a few other smaller bits that have been announced. Universal is developing a true crime film called Peggy Joe, which is going to star Lily James. Oh, love Lily James.
Interesting.
She is probably my favourite actress around at the moment. I just love it. Like, more Lily James is just... I'll take anything she does because she's fantastic. It's apparently loosely based on the true story account of a Texan woman who took to robbing banks while posing as a man. It's going to be directed by Philip Noyce.
How can she look like a man?
Oh, put makeup on and whatever else. So apparently she poses a man and robs some banks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, directed by Philip Noyce, Australian filmmaker, who did Rabbit Proof Fence,
great film.
Bone Collector, Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, Dead Calm.
He's done some. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's written.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, and Billy Zane and Sam Neill.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
Great film.
Written by Robert Knott, who wrote Adaptation, one of your favourites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That's a very good film.
So that'll be interesting, I think. It's called Peggy Joe, Lily James. And Universal is developing it. Starting to shoot that soon.
Sounds all right.
Searchlight Pictures, which previously Fox Searchlight, until Disney bought it and got rid of the Fox name. They're developing, and this is good to know that Searchlight Pictures are still actively developing movies, because there's been a big question over this about what's going to happen with the Fox subsidiaries. Are Disney going to close them down? Are they going to stop? Searchlight Pictures developing an untitled murder mystery starring Sam Rockwell.
Oh, my favourite.
Our favourite. Saoirse Ronan, who's great as well.
I can never work out how to pronounce her name. Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah. And David Oyelowo is in there as well. It's an independent film, of course, Searchlight Pictures. That's the independent arm of what used to be Fox. It's going to be a detective tale about a desperate Hollywood film producer making a film in 1950s London, only to see murders on set. Rockwell will play a world-weary Inspector Stoppard alongside overzealous rookie Constable Stalker, who's played by Saoirse Ronan. Both find themselves trying to solve a whodunit in London's glamorous theatreland and sordid underground. Oh, sounds quite good.
Sounds right.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a great cast and just sounds real fun and quirky.
I might have seen a trailer for it.
No, they haven't shot it yet.
Oh,
No.
So I saw something similar.
They're developing it. That one. It's directed by Tom George, who's just done like a bunch of BBC television stuff. This Country and Defending the Guilty. It's written by Mark Chappell, who wrote Netflix's Flaked. That's that series with Will Arnett.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I like that.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I think I've watched about the first 4 episodes.
Oh, I didn't think
It's
you watched it.
No, I've watched a few episodes of it. That's actually really good.
Yeah. Well, so that'll be...
I don't know if it's up your alley, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I want to watch it, but it got axed after a season. I just don't like watching shows that got axed. You want more.
But I really enjoy Will Arnett.
Yeah, he's great.
And
we'll probably watch it eventually.
I think I might have only been 2, maybe 3 episodes I watched of it, but I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah. We've got another one there. This one you pulled up.
Alex Garland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Indie horror film.
Yeah.
He's the writer of 28, of course, Alex Garland wrote 28 Days Later, Sunshine, and Never Let Me Go. He's the director of Ex Machina.
Great film. Really
fantastic. I love it so much. And Annihilation, which we haven't watched yet.
No.
And he's the showrunner, creator, writer, director of Devs, which is an FX on Hulu show. It's like a low budget. It's called a low budget horror film set in the UK, and they're hoping to shoot in the spring or summer of next year. He was working on some other like TV series, which is about riots, focusing on riots and stuff. But after everything that's happened in America at the moment, he's gone, probably not the best time to do that. Let's do something else. And he's developed this thing. So there's no other info on that. But I like this guy. 28 Days Later, the great zombie flick. Sunshine, if you remember that. It was like a really weird kind of like sci-fi film. I can't remember who was in it. I think Cillian Murphy was in it. Cillian Murphy is in it, I believe. It's like this really weird, like sci-fi. I can't even like explain it, but it was so they wanted to keep it so realistic in their Rose Byrne, in their depiction of space and space travel that they had Brian Cox, who I think is fantastic. They had him come on and we call it. Consult. He's the consultant on that. Yes, he's the astrophysicist. His documentary for the BBC are great. So this Sunshine film, they had Brian Cox come in, so it was like really authentic. So I thought it was just a really great film. So he does some great stuff. I think that was definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for news. It's an interesting story that's been doing the rounds at the moment. We love a good George Clooney story.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good guy, George.
Yeah.
What's he done?
George's been giving away some money.
Yeah.
This happened, I think, back in about 2013 or something.
Yeah. when they did Gravity, just
Yeah,
before Gravity.
and I remember at the time, there were about a year or so after, about 2014, so there were rumours floating around that George had been given away money. And it could never really be confirmed. Yeah. It was only confirmed in the last couple of weeks that it did actually happen, where he invited 14 of his closest friends who had sort of basically supported him while he was coming up through the ranks and had no money. And he would sleep on one mate's couch for weeks on end, and another one would give him money for food and all these sorts of things. Yeah. And he invited them all round to a dinner party, and had a suitcase beside each chair, and he told them all to open the suitcases, and there was $1 million in each of them for them, just to say thanks for what they'd done for him as he was coming through the ranks. And he said that they were all in his will, so that when he passed, they were all going to get $1 million. He said, "Why am I waiting?" The way he said it was that if I get hit by a bus, they will get $1 million. Yeah. He said, "So why am I waiting to be hit by a bus? I might as well give it to you now." Yeah. Now I think one of them, one of the recipients, refused the money, didn't want the money, and George said, "Well, if you don't take it, no one gets it." So he forced him to take it, and then he gave it away to charity. Yeah, brilliant. He didn't need the money, obviously. Yeah, they're all like his mates. They're all like execs and heavyweight producers and all that. I think there's one or two there that are old friends.
Richard Kind apparently is one of them. Actor Richard Kind, was one of them. Well, apparently, allegedly, that was the Daily Mail report. The Daily Mail came out and said, "Oh, these are all George Clooney's best mates, and these are the guys who probably got the money." But this was in a GQ interview. I read the thing that the GQ, the author of the interview, the journalist, actually writes in the article that there was this story floating around about George Clooney for a few years. No one's been able to confirm it. He's like, I was just going to ask him straight up. Yeah. And apparently George danced around it a bit and then was like, screw it, I'll just tell it. It's a good story. Yeah. But he hired a what was it? He hired a florist's van. Yeah. Hired a florist van and got a couple of security guards and went to the bank and withdrew $14 million. Took it back to his place and packed the money himself, apparently. Yeah. So he'd be sitting there with $14 million going, 100, 300. So counting out. Insane. 14 lots of $1 million. But good on him, I mean, that's I'd love to have him at a dinner party for me. Oh yeah, no, not to get money wouldn't be bad, but just to sit and talk to the guy because he sounds like just a genuine bloke, really good-natured, down-to-earth sort of guy. Even though he's got all this money and wealth and fame and whatever, I reckon he'd be one of the five I'd have sitting around a dinner table. Yeah, the old thing is who's the 5 or 6 people you'd have around a dinner table with you. George would be right up there for me. For sure. Particularly after that story. Yeah, it just sounds like a great guy. Just genuine, just good guy. Like, how many people do that, really? That's awesome. But there's been a couple come out now that have actually confirmed it. Yeah, well, he did. So that's all you need. Yeah, that's right. There's another good guy out there as well at the moment. We're pushing the runtime at the moment, but there's another good guy out there, Ryan Reynolds. We've spoken about him already on today's show. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds. Good guy, Ryan Reynolds. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot have just finished a 12-month shoot on a film called Red Notice, which is an action comedy thriller which is heading to Netflix. In the world of international crime, Interpol issues a red notice, a global alert to hunt down, capture the world's most wanted art thief. He took to Instagram and just kind of wrote a big thanks to his friends and his family and his co-workers and everyone who worked on the movie because they produced this in a bubble overseas, I believe. I can't remember where they shot it. But as he said, that they filmed this movie, 300-strong crew and cast, living in a sequestered bubble to make this a reality, right? So they went to work away from their family, away from their friends. They were locked down to make this movie. And apparently what he's done now, other than this Instagram post where he's thanked everyone, he has recorded 400 individual videos for each of his crew and cast to say thanks for working on the film under such incredible circumstances at the moment.
What a great bloke.
So apparently he recorded them all for the people who worked on it. Some of them had kids, so he recorded videos for the family, the kids, recorded some for pets, apparently, dogs and cats and stuff, thank you videos. So insane. So he's sat there, he's recorded 400 thank you videos for his crew and his cast members for working on this.
Good on him. What a bloke.
Yeah, it's good to hear stuff like this at the moment in the world. Stuff like this is happening,
We sort of forget a lot of that, a lot of these sort of people that, have fame and fortune or whatever, that they're actually just human beings and
real decent people.
And they're just decent people.
Yeah.
And he's just another one.
That's for sure. We are bang on an hour and a half, but let's get in some subscriber questions in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're down that low now. That's good. So we're let's move on.
We're there.
Okay, Anthony.
Yes.
Is a Patreon. If Disney one day turned around and asked you, Dave, Rick, we are making a film in Australia and about the culture here down under, will you pitch us your ideas? What would that film look like, and what Disney category would it fall into? Pixar, live action, animation. As always, loving the show.
Thanks, Anthony. Oh. Could you have like an animated? Well,
I haven't seen the question, so I wouldn't know.
I was going to say Rescuers. I was going to say you'd have like an animation set in the outback, focused on Australian animal, but Rescuers Down Under kind of did that already many years ago. Maybe you redo it.
Yeah.
Like get Pixar to do like about a little koala or something.
Oh, geez, I don't know. Be live action for me, I think.
You reckon?
I think I'd be live action. Something like, I don't know, something in the vein of, it'll have to be a comedy.
Yeah.
About, just the quirky, offbeat Australian humour. Maybe about, I don't know, gang wars or something.
Get the Auntie Donna boys.
No, something like, what was that one, Takeaway or...
Yeah, just...
that type of thing. Yeah. That's typical Australian sort of humour and just light-hearted fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Family entertainment that doesn't get too crude and too rude, and you just have a bit of fun with,
Yeah.
And it's just the relaxed Australian way of life, really, for me.
Yep, there you go.
Blake Eisen. G'day, Blake. How are you, mate?
Hello, Blake.
Good to hear from you again.
Yep.
His patron has been following for years.
Long time.
What's a go-to or comfort movie of yours that you don't often speak about?
Oh, gee, I don't know. I don't often speak about. I'm always talking about stuff like, Big Daddy and the Pirates films. Always like movies that I don't know. I don't know. I think one day I was sick with the flu and I watched Pirates. So it's almost been like a go-to movie that's like
a comfort film.
Like the Avengers and stuff. But stuff I don't talk about, maybe The Truman Show. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I used to watch that a lot. Notting Hill I love is just a great film I can watch over and over again. Maybe one that I don't think about a lot is that other Hugh Grant film he did with Drew Barrymore, Music and Lyrics. Remember that one where he was the songwriter?
Yeah.
Great film.
Good film.
Just easy, comfort movie. What about you?
Yeah. I don't know if I really have a comfort movie, but for me, I think, and it's not one I've really watched for a few years, is Amadeus. If I'm stuck at home on a wet Sunday afternoon by myself or something, it's something that I would probably put on to watch.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it'd just be a comedy or
Monty Python or something.
Maybe Life of Brian or something like that. I don't know, but I don't really have comfort films. I sort of enjoy them and move on.
Maybe like
in most cases,
maybe like a Christmas film. We watch the Christmas films every year.
There's a couple of them.
Elf or the Santa Claus.
Bad
or something.
Santa.
Yeah.
Elf, Bad Santa. Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, we've got a question about that.
Okay, so that's it for me. Jeff B is another Patreon. Hey Jeff.
Hello.
Did you know that Liza Minnelli is Judy Garland's daughter?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Also, can you please tell me why you don't like Rescuers Down Under?
So this is funny. I think he's asked a couple of times, and I forgot to answer it a couple of times. Apologies,
Keep
Jeff.
asking, you'll eventually get to it.
Sorry, I apologise. I don't think I've ever said I don't like it. It's just not a film that I love. It's just not one of those ones that I really love.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's a great movie. It's like really groundbreaking when it comes to like the technology, the way it was animated. It's the first one to use that CAPS technology, which is like the digital animation.
Yep.
It's a really great, big, epic film, but it's just like, it came out of that Renaissance period where you've got The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Mulan, Hercules. I mean, they just all overshadow that film for me. The Lion King, Great movie. It's a great movie, but it's not one that I just love like all the others,
Yeah, it's almost got that hand-drawn feel to it.
Well,
too,
yeah,
really.
it was hand-drawn. It was one of the very last cell-drawn ones, but it was the first one to employ the CAPS, which was the digital inking. To sort of employ it on a smaller scale.
Okay, Pete Semos, our old mate Pete.
This one for you, actually.
For me.
Do you want me to read this one?
Yeah, you read that one.
Well, it's for kind of for both of us, but I think you'd better answer this one. I think you'd be better at answering this one.
Okay.
Years ago, thanks Pete Semos, patron. Years ago, everyone said this is a serious Semos this week. Not a silly Semos.
Not a silly Semos, yeah.
Okay, so years ago, everyone said with the introduction of Fox Sports covering all NRL, AFL games that people won't attend games anymore. However, the live experience has proven to remain strong. Is there any similarities to this and theatres competing with streaming services?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because when it comes to your sport, you have an emotional attachment to it. There's not too many films or anything else that you have an emotional attachment to.
Well, if you're like in a fandom or, you
Yeah,
really...
but it's different. I mean, you have a camaraderie with the people you sit next to at the football, even though you don't know them.
Yeah.
And we pay our memberships every year for our football club and the Mighty Bombers.
Yeah.
And so we pay our membership every year, and we sit next to and near the same people year after year, and it's the only time you catch up with them is 10 or 11 times a year, and you have this emotional attachment to the club, and you feel part of a part of a group, part of a what's the word I'm looking for? Part of a
family.
Family. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Whereas with the film, you don't. It's something you go and watch and you walk away from. But if you go to the football, your team gets beat, it hurts. If you go and watch a film and you don't like it, it's just shit film. I'll move on.
Well, in this day and age, you do get a lot of people who, will take... I still get comments on my Star Wars videos from 3 years ago attacking me because, you like this movie, I didn't. Sort of thing. So there is an emotional attachment to films, and a lot of people get attached to the characters and get attached to the stories and stuff. But I think
it's a different type of attachment, though.
Yeah.
It's a different emotional attachment because you're invested in your football club.
Yeah,
and particularly if you pay a membership, you're invested in it. So I don't think there's much of a correlation between the two. I think people will still go to the football. I'd rather go to the football and watch my team play, win or lose.
Well, I think it's like the difference is if you're going to the movies to see a cinema, if you're going to the cinema to see a movie or you're watching a movie at home, both experiences you've seen on screen, right? Yeah. Whereas sport, you have the chance to either watch it on telly on a screen or you go there and you're there in the environment and you're part of it.
You participate. Yeah. That's it.
So that's different.
And that's what I'm saying about the emotional attachment.
Yeah.
You have that closeness to the team you follow and the people that play and all those sorts of things, and the people around you. And so I think there's quite a different sort of emotional attachment to film, and I think your sport's never going to die off. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
Okay, the Means podcast. Hope that answered the question.
This means,
This means, what did I say?
The Means.
This Means podcast. Jonathan.
This is the Looney Tunes podcast.
Oh, okay.
Great Looney Tunes podcast, yeah.
Okay. Would you prefer a Tom and Jerry film without human characters more than what you've seen of the trailer?
No, I love what I saw of the trailer. So it was great.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
I enjoyed that.
The last Tom and Jerry movie we got in the 90s was terrible. They talk and they're best friends and they go on an adventure. I want that. I want this.
Yeah. No.
Tom and Jerry run around a hotel just like throwing irons and stuff at each other's heads and slamming each other's fingers in a window, and got
That's Tom and Jerry.
Michael Pena and Chloe Grace Moretz running after him. It's great. No.
And just because Michael Pena's in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Thanks for writing in, Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly.
Good bloke.
Ross the film critic.
Yep.
What's your favourite tearjerker movie that makes you cry the most?
Jack gets me every time. Robin Williams,
Jack
where
does.
he's the, like, how old is he, like 12-year-old, 15-year-old boy or whatever?
Something like that,
And
yeah.
he's in, like, a 40-year-old man's body.
Yeah.
And then the end, I don't want to spoil it. Hey, it's an old movie now.
Yeah.
But he's sort of like an old man by the end of it. And
Yeah.
you know he's like supposed to be 20 years old, but he's like an 80-year-old
He's like an
man's
80-year-old,
body.
yeah.
And he delivers this speech at the graduation, and it's just very sad. It's
Yeah.
very sad. It's the only one that, and because it's Robin Williams, because I love Robin Williams so much, and especially since he's passing as well, it makes it even more poignant.
Well, it's funny you say that because one for me of Robin Williams is where is the doctor?
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams.
Yeah.
That does it for me too.
Yeah.
One of his films. But for me, there's plenty.
Yeah.
There's plenty that get me. If you see, it's hard to explain. It's
The films.
there's just a heap of films for
It's
me.
that's that emotional attachment people have to movies, though. It's
Yeah.
how you relate to them and
It's how you relate to
Yeah.
the characters and the situation they're in, and particularly.
how it speaks to you. How the
And I
narrative.
never used to get affected by film and stuff like that. But when you become a parent, it changes
Yeah.
because you can put yourself in so many different situations.
I think that's the same for.
So things like that. There was that one that came out. Was it last year? Was the boy that wore the space helmet? Wonder.
Yeah.
That got me. It's because I could put myself in the position of
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson
Yeah.
and having a child like that.
Yeah. Right.
So, those sorts of films get me
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I think, but like I said, I think that's the emotional connection to any movie. People connect to movies for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's how that narrative speaks to you and your experience, where you are in your life, and whether it is having a family, whether it is just anything else. It's just that emotional attachment to a film. Yeah. All right, anyway, next up.
Okay, next one is Tom. Now, we're going to get this right this week because he's actually
We got a phonetic spelling.
phonetic spelling. Tom Baudouin.
Yeah.
So, Tom Baudouin. Do you still do a Christmas movie marathon every year? If so, are you getting ready to put this year's list together?
Well, if you're a long-time viewer, then I did a video years ago where I talked about, we used to do like a Christmas movie marathon every year, like 1st of December.
Christmas movie every day.
Christmas
right
movie
up to
every
Christmas.
single day.
From the first.
Yeah, from the first right up until Christmas Day, maybe a couple of days after. It would usually kick off with something like Bad Santa, and then kind of like you kick off with a really good one that you really love, but it's not like a classic, not like one of the like classics that you just really love. You kick off with something fun like Bad Santa. And you go into some of the just more ones that you're just kind of going through the motions of rewatching them. And then as you get closer and closer to Christmas, you get into the ones that you really love, like maybe mid-December, Miracle on 34th Street. Then by the end, in that like kind of week leading up to Christmas, you get stuff like Elf and The Santa Claus, Wonderful Life. Is always a Christmas Eve film for me.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day, it's always
Christmas Vacation every year.
So that's kind of, you do that big build-up. I don't know if we'll do that this year. We have so much stuff to watch at the moment that I feel like sometimes I've been doing this for at least a decade.
At least.
And some of the movies, it almost feels like, all right, go through the motions of just watching it again for the sake of it.
We've got a couple of new ones this year too.
We have a few new ones, which is good. Last Christmas, I'm looking forward to seeing. So I think this year is probably not going to be a full-on like 30 days. We've got so many movies you just need to watch, and TV and everything. But I think it's like almost like you pick out your maybe like 10 favorites, and that week leading up to Christmas, you just smash out a few. And then there's a couple of new ones that we haven't watched yet. Yeah.
So it won't be a full-on one, but
no.
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Tom.
Catherine,
We'll probably do a episode next week where we talk about some Christmas stuff in the lead up to Christmas. Yeah,
and some of the movies we watch and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah. Okay. Katharina Alvarez.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance or Supernatural?
I've never watched Dark Crystal. It's nothing that really intrigued me.
Not at all.
I like the Muppets. I love Jim Henson stuff, but I think because I'm not a fan of David Bowie, it's just that weird thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched that. That's the series based on that film.
Yep.
Supernatural, funnily, when they first aired that's just finished now, Supernatural.
Really?
Yeah.
It went that long?
Yeah.
My God.
I swear that I've heard 3 or 4, 5 years in a row, oh, this is the last season of Supernatural, it's ended. But every year it's like, oh, Supernatural's ending. I was like, what? I thought it ended a long time ago. I don't know how many seasons it did. Had to have been at least...
Let's see.
I don't know, because I was in high school when that started. And I've been out of high school for 12 years. It's been on for a long time. The funny thing is when they first started playing Supernatural, it was one of those things where they kind of like what they would used to do, it was on Channel 10, and Channel 10 would play the first episode, the pilot, and then they would re-air it maybe 2 or 3 times. And usually what they do like an encore performance or an encore screening of the show. So they play the first one, and then usually it will be like maybe the next week they play it, like they might play the first one on a Wednesday night, the next week they'll play it on like a Monday night, maybe a little bit later. But what they did with Supernatural... What they did with Supernatural is they played that first episode 3 weeks in a row on the same night. So I watched the first episode, I thought, that's pretty good. I'll tune in and watch the second one. They were replaying the first one. I thought, what's going on? I think I rewatched it again, and then I come back for the 3rd week, and they're playing again. I thought, no, I'm out. That's it.
I think I've watched probably 3 episodes.
That was it for me. I only watched the first one.
There's 15 seasons got listed on.
How many episodes?
IMDb. 328.
Oh my lord!
There's no way I'm
because that would still. That's probably one of those shows that's still doing 24 episodes a season because it's a network show.
Oh,
it would have to be because network shows still have that like 24. I don't know. If you click on that, it's will tell you right there on the picture.
Episode 21.
There you go. Yeah, so it's still network shows still have like a 20, 21, 24 length season. Anyway, there you go. So I've watched the first episode of Supernatural
it has to be 15 seasons, 328 episodes. So that breaks down to about 21, 22 episodes a season.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next question because we're breaching nearly 2 hours again.
Who's this? Kieran Diamatris?
Yep.
Kieran Diamatris. Sorry if I got your name wrong. Why are you so obsessed with cartoons and evolutions?
I don't know if this is like an actual question or whether it's someone just
taking
the mickey or someone just getting annoyed with me. Why is this all you do? I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm obsessed. I love it. It's what I am passionate about. It's what I know a lot about. And the videos get a lot of good hits. But I think a lot of people do forget that a lot of people on YouTube are doing it sort of as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, it's
a way of you being able to tell stories.
It's a way. I love the stories, and I guess the thing.
And you love documentaries.
But for me, what I'm trying to say, right? My number one passion is just movies, right? And movies in general, just love it. But one particular area that I've been very, interested in, or very intrigued with is the history of cartoons, the history of these characters, and it is about the connection with the characters to the time period that they were created, why they were created, and how people connected with them, and how they've had to adapt over time to keep up with whatever is going on in the world socially, politically. And it's so much more than just the surface. You've got the character, but there's so much depth underneath there. This incredible story.
So it's not really about the cartoons, really.
It's about telling stories. And I think what's happened with YouTube, I've tried so many things, tried to stick them, like throw against the wall, and this is the one thing that really stuck, is that people really connected to these stories that I'm telling and the way I'm telling them. I just love doing it. I just love them.
Yeah. It's more about the education of it and the education you've gotten out of it as well.
Well, yeah.
So it's not so much that it's cartoons; it's the fact that it's about history, and it's about, because you've always enjoyed history.
Yeah.
So it's about history and the evolution, evolution of that platform.
I think that's what a lot of people get surprised with these videos, though, is how in-depth some of the history is for these characters. And kind of that's what people are fascinated with, is the way the characters have evolved over time. You kind of you don't realize it until you kind of pull it apart.
Yeah.
I get really surprised too, especially when I first started doing it. I mean, I first started with the Disney characters, and that was really simple. But then you get into characters like Scooby-Doo, who was essentially formed out of a political movement to get, less violent stuff on television, and the way that that's been done over time. And then you look at something like Tom and Jerry, which started just completely violent and crazy, and then how it got watered down over the years.
Yeah.
Because, again, political
times,
Yeah. So I just think the whole thing's fascinating. I love history. I love films. And this great convergence of film.
And it's probably because like, some of these characters have been around for 60, 70, 80 years that there's that history there, and it tells a story.
Oh, yeah, exactly right.
Tells that story of...
Like when a lot of people, I get a lot of, do the evolution of Cuphead, which is something that's been around for 3 years. It's like, there's no story there. You can't tell a story of that. But you get a character that's 80, 100 years old, like Felix the Cat.
Yeah.
They've gone through so much.
Yeah.
And they've gone through world wars and gone
and you
through...
can see that in the evolution of it as where in history the particular stories are being told through that.
It's just fascinating me. Again, as someone, it's just this crazy convergence of pop culture, history, politics, social culture, whatever. It's just this crazy, just everything that I'm just so interested in. And I think all these different little things that I kind of have a little bit of knowledge in all these different areas converging. And I feel like I've found a love for documentary filmmaking and all that stuff. And I've always loved reading biographies and just history in general. Yeah. That's why I'm, I guess, so obsessed with them. But again, another thing is that it's become the thing that people really enjoy, the content that people really enjoy. So that's why I keep pumping it out.
And that's because, like myself, you don't realise what's going on in history at the time and all those things, and these tell all those stories. There you go. Dylan Oldmiller. If you've seen it, what's your opinion on Mouse of House? I personally think it's underrated and deserves more attention.
House of Mouse.
What did I say?
Mouse of House. Mouse of House.
Mouse of House.
Yeah. What a moron. House of Mouse is this Disney series, animated series that was on the Disney Channel in the early 2000s. So I grew up watching it. I liked it at the time. It's not something I've ever really gone back to. I've seen obviously seen bits of it when I do my evolutions and stuff. It's a good show. I don't know if it's underrated, deserves more attention. I don't know. It's a fun show. It's a fun little Disney sketch cartoons and stuff all strung together. I guess it's just again, it's that evolution thing. It becomes, you get these other shows that come in, and I don't know how relevant it is now. That's I don't know. I think it's always. I think all these stories, Disney cartoons and stuff, are always relevant. But I don't know if underrated or deserves more attention is something that I put on it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Good show though. I did enjoy it.
Animation presentations. Yep. Do you like the classic Disney classic Mickey Mouse? Oh, geez,
it's bordering 2 hours.
Do you like the classic Mickey Mouse shorts more than 2013 shorts?
Yeah, of course.
Who doesn't?
Of course, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Classic Disney cartoons.
Yeah, can't go past them.
VHSified. Yep. What is your favourite Simpsons episode?
Oh, so tough. There's so many. I think my favourites would have to be You Only Move Twice, which is the one with where they move house and Homer goes to work for the Hank Scorpio Corporation, and it's like a rip-off of James Bond sort of thing. And Scorpio turns out to be like this megalomaniac inventor guy, science guy, and he's essentially paid Homer heaps of money to come, and it just gets a bit weird. They're moved into this futuristic house. It's just one of the classic episodes. And then probably Cape Fear, which is that Sideshow Bob episode where they go on the boat, and Sideshow Bob's hunting down Bart. I think they're probably my two favourite ones.
One of mine was when we went to New York.
Homer versus the City of New York.
Yeah. That was a great one. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. And goes to the World Trade Center. They didn't play it. I don't know if they even still air that in American television anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or was a long time where they didn't play it on American television after September 11, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing. Well, again, nearly 2 hours here, but one last thing as we're talking about questions and stuff. We did get an email in on the podcast. This came in like 2 weeks ago. Usually my Gmail would send me a notification when I get an email, but obviously I didn't get notification for the podcast email for some reason. I've turned it on now. But Blake Fonte sent in an email to daveleepod@gmail.com. He says, I just wanted to say that you and old mate Rick have been knocking it out of the park with the podcast. I'm not normally one for podcasts, but this one is very well made. With two likable personalities. It's super up my alley as a young film buff and Blu-ray collector, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it. You may have already noticed me on your Letterboxd. I do my little Letterboxd accounts.
Yep.
And he's been liking my little reviews and stuff. I can't be sure, though, but I'm enjoying your reviews on there, as well as your YouTube channel. Just wanted to say keep up the good work with the podcast.
Oh, that's
Thanks
nice.
so much, Blake. I appreciate that.
Nice little email.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we want to get in on the podcast email. Cool. So if you do want to send in anything like that, it will get read on the podcast. So
awesome.
Thanks so much, Blake. Really appreciate that. And good to hear some feedback on the podcast too.
Yeah, good.
It's really nice. At that, we pushed 2 hours again.
Oh, good. We thought we were going to struggle to do an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, because there's no big news this week, but we somehow, I feel like we just push it now. We're like, 20 minutes. We got a bit of time left now.
Got to pull it back.
We got to pull it back. I want to know, how do you feel about 2 hour podcasts? You can obviously tell we get a bit tired by the end of 2 hours. What's the best format? How's the best format for you guys?
Hour and a half, two.
Let us know in the comments on the YouTube video. Email daveleepod@gmail.com or head to my Twitter or my Instagram. Just message me. I really want to know. I'd really like to know what you guys are thinking out there, because the stats that I get on the platforms and stuff aren't great.
Don't really tell you
so they don't
anything.
really tell me much about how much people are consuming, what they So feedback would be really, really helpful in helping us refine the podcast. I suppose,
that's right.
As we move towards the end of the year,
And it's only been 3 months, so it's going to take a while to
exactly right. Get in the groove,
nut down, and get exactly what we want.
Anyway, that is all we have time for today. Of course, these podcasts go out every single Monday on all the podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible. The visual element goes up on YouTube on the same day, but it goes out 2 days earlier to Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support for as little as $1 a month.
Cheapskate.
Yeah, I am. You get myself out there real cheap, but that's all right. Patreon.com/Dave Lee Down Under. It's cheap.
So your girlfriend always says.
It's the same joke every week. So please let me know. Old mate Rick's joke, same joke every week. Do you like it or is it annoying?
Don't care.
Right. Of course, you can find me at YouTube, Dave Lee Down Under, on Twitter, Instagram. Links are all down in the comments down there. You want to write into the show, daveleepod@gmail.com. If you're listening on podcast platforms, we'd love that rating. As much feedback as we can get. Good ratings. But we'd love to hear the feedback. This week on the channel, YouTube-wise, nothing big. I'm trying to get this Snoopy, Charlie Brown, Peanuts Evolution done.
It's been a bit of work in that.
Should have been up this week, but because of the Animaniacs one, I kind of overestimated how much I could get done in such a short period of time. This is why I only do one Evolution a month. I get a lot of people going, more Evolutions. This is why I can't do it. I can't do it. So I've re-announced that's going out on the 30th. I'm still confident I can get it done by the 30th, but I just got to nut out like the next 3 days. I've got to just work real hard, right? So next week, Charlie Brown Snoopy will come out on the 30th. Hopefully. Actually, this podcast goes out on the 30th. So it could be up. Who knows? We'll see. Could be today, could be the day after, I don't know. But that's my big plan, is to hopefully get the Charlie Brown Snoopy out this week. My review for Disney Plus Godmothered will go up this week as well. And otherwise, that's it. The Animaniacs, again, that podcast that got in the way of Charlie Brown. Huge! Time recording, 350,000 views in like a week. Crazy. My fastest performing video ever. Not my most viewed, but the fastest performing.
Surprised the crap out of me.
Most successful video of 2020. And I told you you'd love it.
Yeah.
Got to start the music up again because we just... I told them they'd love it, but I'm surprised at how well it's gone.
It surprised me.
That SpongeBob one did so well, like the first day, and it just crashed.
Yeah, that's right.
But this one is it's still going. thousands of subs I'm getting as well, which is insane.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for watching the Animaniacs and for pushing and pushing and pushing. And
Would never have thought.
Me either. So hopefully we'll get Charlie Brown out there this week. Today, if you're listening on the Monday. If you're listening after the Monday, hopefully it's already up. I don't know, whatever. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Old Mate for joining.
Thanks, Dave.
And thanks again to New Zealand Mint for sponsoring.
Yeah.
And
get onto their website and have a look. It's fantastic.
NZMint.com. Check out all the stuff they've got on there, but definitely check out that Lord of the Rings silver foil, 35 gram. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
gorgeous.
really nice.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Take care.